So first, if you have assigned syllabus for me, either because you are new to one of my classes or maybe I just don't recall getting one from you last semester, I gave you one. Then I just need the last page. You could put it in the metal bin. Otherwise, I'll start making contact home after Friday if those aren't turned in. If you ever need to refer to the course expectations, they're always at the top of Schoology. So yeah, check that out if you're ever confused on like how long you have for late work or whatever the case may be. We did our first lesson of the semester and it was fairly, I don't know, the learning targets, as you can see, are very short, just one bullet point. Can you compare growth patterns using calculations and graphs? So can you say whether one is growing at a faster rate or a slower rate, depending on how much time has passed? Can you continue the pattern? What else did you say? Can you make an equation for the pattern is harder? Like for now, like if you can, great. If not, as long as you get the right answer at the end of the day is all that matters. Like on your tests, it might not be feasible to keep the pattern going 30 times. Plus, as we saw, some people made mistakes when it got to that. What you should remember is what linear functions are from last semester. This new function that we're looking at, exponential functions, are the types that grow or decay at a really fast rate. And we didn't even talk about the definitions of them at all. We literally just looked at an example that happened to be an exponential function. This unit takes things very slow. Not necessarily that that's a bad thing. I think it's great because it's just literally adding one little piece of information, but you need to remember those little key points. So key points from today that I tried to emphasize, can anyone tell me one of them? So I could have, like, instead of having the lesson take an hour today, I could have taught you all the main points in like 5 minutes. So what were the main points from today? What were the things that I said are really important you remember? Austin? Okay, exponents. What do exponents tell you to do? So exponents have you multiplying by the base, however many times the exponent is. So like, for example, if it's 8 to the power of 3, what am I basically asking you to do? Multiply 8 by itself 3 times, right? That's what exponents are. It's a way to condense repeated multiplication by the same number. What was another key point from today? Maybe from the warm-up? Or something that people messed up on when they were first calculating for like after 1 week, how much was it each?
Oh, you got first thing, first one, second one,
So I know what he's saying.
and I explained.
The initial amount, whatever time frame we're talking about, seconds, minutes, days, whatever, is always like day what? Your starting amount is always what? Like your day 0 or hour 0, second 0, whatever time frame they're talking about, usually means X per time. Your initial amount is usually when their X is 0. Not when it's already doubled one time, or not when it's already added 200 to it already. It's like what it started with. And really, those were the key things. There's maybe like a couple others that you should recognize, like of course that linear is y equals mx plus b. But that wasn't necessarily like a make or break today. Like, didn't remember that, you still should have video looked at the answers. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Any questions? So your practice, and since you're all here today, I would expect you all to get this done. 80% or higher is my cutoff. If you get 80% or higher on this practice, you can move on to other things, whether that's other assignments and things like that. Yeah. If you need extra attempts, let me know. If as long as you're not just guessing, I will give you another attempt. If you have questions, let me know. I'll check in with you probably last 20 minutes on the screen anyway, but you can ask before. Yes, Amy? When Gavin comes back. But Unit 5, Lesson 1, Number 5. In round 0, one or more people in a crowded room are infected with the virus. In all the rounds that follow, the infected people infect one or more people in the room. For each scenario, a graph represents the round number X and the number of people infected during that round Y. Which scenario would have the steepest graph? So basically would be growing the fastest. So at round 0, in all the rounds that follow, infect 2 people. So think about it with like the warm up and the bacteria, like it's splitting into threes and things like that. If each person in the first option, because yours could be shuffled, in my first option, if they're each infecting 2 people, that's like multiplying by 2 each time. If they are each infecting 4 people, that's like multiplying by 4. In this one, they are infecting 3 people, so that's multiplying by 3 each time. And in this one, they're each infecting 1 person. So it's multiplying by 1 each time. What I'm thinking is that it doesn't matter what the initial amount was. I think that the one that will have the steepest graph will be the one that is multiplying by the highest factor. So that's why I'm ignoring. That's why I'm ignoring what they started with. Because, like, for example, the one that started with 10 people, if they're each only infecting 1 person, like, that's not a lot in the grand scheme of things. So I think the answer is going to be this one. Let's see. And it's right. Because if you're multiplying by a higher number, that's going to have a steeper graph because it's going to grow at a faster rate. So steepness has to do with how much it's changing by. So pick the one with a higher factor. Questions on that? Yes. So if it's multiplying by a bigger number, that will have a steeper graph, regardless of where it started. Okay. Other questions? Okay, well, you just let me know. Clarification on anything. I know the first one of the unit is typically like not much there, but start off strong, do some IXL skills. We saw like 15 minutes. You could start off really strong. Any other questions though?